Right, boys, this is going to be a bit of a shorter video, but I think it's going to be a really important one. I think there's going to be a really important life lesson in this. And it's also going to be a bit of a rant, a bit of motivation for you. Because I just remember back in the day, there's a fair few YouTubers that really stood out to me. And when they made these really direct videos, which just made sense, it helped me out massively. It helped me think, and it helped me just, when I was in a low place, it helped my soul just, okay, let's fucking do today. Let's make today, oh, it's not going to be easy, but let's get what needs to be done out of the way, right? I tell you boys all the time, everything else will fall into place when you fix everything that's holding you back, i.e. porn, sugar, if you're doing alcohol, drugs, social media. That's where you start. That's point A. That's what you need to do. When you sort that, it won't fix everything overnight. For a good 3 days, you're still gonna have brain fog because of all the shit. But I remember what my first real go at semen retention. Before this, I'd only ever been able to get to like 2 weeks, and most of the time I was able to do like 2 days, and then I just go back to it. But my first time I hit like 20 days. Like I couldn't even think about doing this now. But 20 days, right? I get to the point, I'm working a bar job, and just all of a sudden, like, it clicks for me. Like, I'm now able to hold eye contact. I can flirt. I can have conversations. Like, I can just be in my own skin. And I'm happy about it. That sounds a bit wishy-washy, I know, but it's just such a powerful thing. That's semen retention alone. The other things have their own benefits, obviously, but it's all to do with dopamine. It's not some spiritual thing. It's just to do with testosterone and self-worth. It's an identity thing. This video is not necessarily about that, but that is, just so you know, that is where you need to start. And I really recommend looking back from my past couple of videos, seeing what I have about removing bad habits and specifically semen retention. Because semen retention, that is your anchor. It's the hardest thing you can do. But I promise you, you can go 1,000 days without it. But I've not even hit 1,000 days myself, like, without it. Like, this is something I fixed over the last 2 years. It was a really prominent issue for me. But it's not to say you're not gonna go off and stuff. I'm not gonna say there's not gonna be 2 months where like you're really locked in and like you're gonna have those urges there. The urges will be there, and there will be times where you're not gonna have a go in your life for a couple of months. Like that's happened to me. I wouldn't say I've got a problem with girls, but even um, there are times throughout the year where I'm not so good with girls because I'm either focusing on something else. I've got shit habits because like when I have realized this when I do sort of slack on the gym and stuff, and like I get my puffiness goes up. I find that my energy goes down, and I'm not as good as I usually would be. It's not to say I'm some kind of playboy, but like it is an area in my life I really have improved in, and it's an area I'll say I'm pretty normal in. Like I'm a normal guy in like the dating aspect. I do pretty well. But that's a huge transition from where I was at 17 years old, even 18 years old, where the shot pretty much got zero female attention other than sort of working at pubs and going on nights out and having really quick one night stands. But it's an area I've really improved in. Again, that's not what I want to talk about in this video. You boys need to grow up parabolics. For you probably know this, if you're at a phase in your life where you're just reading books like Atomic Habits, what other books, like Psycho Cybernetics, books like this, right? Like the Goggins book. Well done, props to you. You're like taking action, right? I still read these books. I think there are huge things to take from this. For example, Atomic Habits, like you just put in a really good way to say these little things you do every day, every year will make huge outcomes. And that is absolutely true. I also like the idea of if you skip something more than once, like it becomes a habit, which is also true. So if I don't go to the gym tomorrow, no, I don't go to the gym again. Like the first time was a mistake, but then it's a habit, which I think is great. But the more you will find with self-help books, it can be a bit detrimental. You're gonna read a couple of these books and you're not gonna be sure what to believe. These books contradict themselves. You'll find this especially if you scroll on social media. You become a very confused guy and you'll start thinking a bit like a frightened mouse. You'll constantly just be getting like messages flying. You'd be trying to keep yourself safe. You'd be overthinking everything. It's an anxious way of thinking. But in my opinion, you need to keep things simple. It's the 80-20 rule I talk about. It's the tasks which actually make a difference, Like, for example, I'm sure saunas, ice baths, they're great, I ain't got time for that shit, you know? Well, I'm working on the business 10 hours a day. I go to the gym for 90 minutes. Outside of that, I have a piano tutor every week. I've got piano, like, to practice. I do a bit of Spanish as well. I like reading. I like watching films. Personally, I just haven't got time for that shit. I like things that make a difference, and that goes for business as well. If I'm ever out of anything to do in the business, I know picking up the phone is that 80-20 rule for me. But the way of thinking about it, guys, is you don't need like accountability partners. You don't need anything. If you're a guy who sort of feels alone, you might live with your family still. But I love the idea of me against the world. Yes, I have my boys. I love them to pieces. But I love the idea of it's me against the world, especially when, like, I just left sixth form at 16. And I don't know, people thought I was just very weird for going on this path of moving to Thailand and going about, like, the entrepreneurial route. We were just told we need to go to university, and I'm not against it. It is even something I would consider doing online in the future. It's just, there's no need for it right now. I like the concept of university, but for me at the time, I was a fat kid, I was overweight, I couldn't get girls, I wasn't making any money, I had no idea what I wanted to do. University just wasn't the route. People thought I was fucking weird for this. But like back then, it was like, fuck, shit, But I had a lot of friends at the school. But I moved away to the other side of the country to a place called Basingstoke, and I really started to love the grit of it. I was living in like a house share. I was boxing, I was scraping by, I was putting money away, I was working the hardest job I'd ever worked. It was me against the world. I didn't know anyone. I fucking loved it. I loved it. Yes, it was a bit shit. It's a bit of contradiction there. But part of me just like, yeah, this is fucking it. I feel like a beast, like I feel like a Spartan, like where I am right now. I actually like the concept of being in the trenches, and I try and replicate that. Although I live in this nice big apartment and drive a nice car, I have like, really, when you think about it, I have everything like a 20-year-old should want. Like, I should be really happy, and I am, right? I really am grateful for what I have. But at the same time, like, part of me wants that again, Part of me wants to live in a shitty little apartment with like house share, with like barely having the money to get by, and I just love the idea of going boxing every night and just, yeah, it's just a really sort of humbling part of my life. But the reason I made so much progress in this time is because it was so simple. It was so simple, and I learned to have a bit of responsibility. Fucking grow a pair of bollocks. Forget about these fucking habit trackers and just become a man. This is like actually where I think the red pill stuff is quite good. I think generally it's a boatload of lies, and it's like, it's like a comic book, right? These guys are comic book characters. They're characters, you know, whatever, like, they're there, they're following a script. They've got models with them. They're trying to make it look a certain way, sell their course. Whatever, who can blame them? They're dickheads, right? But at the same time, I actually like how direct it is. I liked how they just called my shit out. No one had ever like just been very direct about how being overweight is such a negative thing. Like, it's fucking You can't be like that. You can't be overweight. You just can't. Like, I'm never like horrible to someone when I see they're overweight, and I'll never like if they don't ask for my feedback about it, unless they're a close friend. I'm not gonna say, mate, you're fucking fat as fuck. You need to lose some weight. I'd never do that. I want respect for everyone, but at the same time, if they came up to me as like, oh mate, like my life's a bit fucked. What do you think I need to do? I would straight up tell them, it's like, mate, like you're overweight. Well, first of all, like if you're worried that you can't get girls, I would start there, and then I'd look into the rest of their life about like what their habits are. Like 9 times out of 10, if you are overweight, like your actions, it's due to your actions, unless you have some sort of like disorder or something, which I don't really believe in. But if you're overweight, it's because of your actions, and these negative actions are because of what is in your environment. Like you're usually, and like 99% of the time, it is porn, junk food, and social media. I can literally tell when someone watches porn because they can't hold eye contact. They stutter a bit, seem a bit nervous, you know. Like I see it in their soul. But hopefully, this was a good message, guys. I'm just saying, like, these books are great, right? But sometimes just taking on more information is detrimental. Sometimes you just need to cut the books out. Just because some YouTuber told you to read books every day doesn't mean this help you. I don't think you should read books for the sake of it. I think you should read books like for general information, but sometimes the self-help books are not the best. Unless like there's a specific area of your life, like I don't know, your woman always nagging at you. Like maybe you should go read The Way of the Superior Man. Like, that's a fantastic book, but I don't think you should read it for the sake of it. And that's just coming from a place where I've read so many self-help books, and it just gets confusing. But even to the point, I was like, maybe even the books are fine, but I would literally just cut out the like a lot of the self-improvement YouTube content and courses. My point is, guys, just sometimes you take a break from all the information. You need to keep it as simple as possible. Grow a pair of bollocks, and like you can't just wait till tomorrow. If you've already eaten junk food today, I don't give a fuck. You need to just like wake up and say, okay, well, if I just go to bed feeling really bloated, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. I'm not gonna wake up. So before I go to bed, I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna have a shower. I'm gonna drink some green tea, just to get the digestion going. I'm gonna wake up feeling so much better tomorrow. I'm not gonna eat any more junk food for the rest of the day. It starts today, guys. It doesn't start tomorrow. Hopefully you found this helpful, guys. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you like, shoot me a message on Instagram. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd really appreciate a subscribe. Thank you very much, boys.